evil of the Grinning Dogman. Dear Scary Stories NYC, I know that you like to run accounts of Dogman encounters where things end up fine and the Dogman turns out to be likable, sort of like Harry and the Hendersons, but with taller ears and a longer snout. Well, you might not want to run my Dogman experiences because I never met any Dogman that was handsome or worked out at a gym or saved 100 people from a crashed airplane or whatever else people tell you. Look, I'm not doubting what anyone else is saying, but I think you should also present the opposite point of view, especially when I happen to have that opposite point of view myself. Maybe there are Superman, glamorous, hardworking Giga Chad Dogmen who love their mother and America. But the kind of Dogman I have been cursed to have in my life is this other kind that's closer to a demon out of hell than any kind of living thing, friendly or otherwise. Maybe we should even have different names for these different things. They are so not like each other in temperament, from the muscle man Dogman people see in Pennsylvania or wherever these accounts you talk about are from. My story happened in the happiest of times for me and my wife, in a place with a jolly little name. This was the first time we learned that we were expecting our first child, and we left the doctor's office to go look at Friendship Park. It was the middle of winter, but we were expecting, and we wanted to go look at this park that we had heard was mainly for kids. Like most parks, it's mostly meant for use in the spring and summer, maybe the fall a bit. This was a cold winter day. There was still some snow on the ground here and there from the last storm a week or two prior, and as I'll get to in a minute, it started to snow while we were there. Now, the thing that we did not know in advance about Friendship Park in Lake Orion, Michigan, which is a northern suburb of Pontiac and Detroit, was that it's got some pretty wild area inside it. Somehow, I suppose just because we weren't really watching where we went, we found ourselves wandering deeper and deeper into no place and any place. We were just lost in each other, talking about how we wanted to raise our kid and what games we would play with them. It all seemed like a bright future was rushing toward us. We found a gazebo and walked up into it. When we held each other in there, the cold went away, and we talked about the future as we watched the snow start to fall. And then, my wife Cecilia saw it. She looked concerned, and so I looked, and then I saw it too. I jumped in surprise and fear, and she whispered that I was being rude. She thought that was a person over there, a human. I wasn't seeing a human, but I whispered back to her, asking her what she saw over there. She looked even more uncomfortable, and then hissed that she was talking about that smiling man. That smiling what? I asked her, and she glanced over there again. This time she jumped. This time she squealed, and she ran out of the gazebo into the snow. I knew I needed to run after her, but first I needed to look one more time at that thing over there and see if it was going to pursue her or not. Here's what I saw. There was a man-shaped animal, covered in a grayish-brownish kind of straight fur. It stood on its hind legs like a human being, but it appeared in many ways to be a canine, such as a wolf or a dog. It was watching my wife run away, with its mouth open, in a grin that reminded me of a joker from an old-fashioned deck of cards. This joker, however, had teeth so long that he had to open his grin incredibly wide and tall just to show them off from top to bottom. In fact, I've never seen any kind of canine that could put its mouth in that position. This was either a deformed creature or else maybe a different species from what I'm used to seeing. It seemed to notice me looking at it, and it casually turned from staring at Cecilia to looking at me. When it was facing my direction, Its eyes seemed to glow, this sort of yellow or orange or red. I think it was constantly changing from one to the other, and it seemed to be generated from within. I mean, it looked like his eyes were light bulbs, but since I didn't notice that until it faced toward me, I'm gonna assume it was just eye shine. At any rate, I was looking at this thing with a dog face that clearly wasn't a dog. The way the eyes seemed to be flashing rhythmically at me, the way it seemed to be mocking me without even doing anything at all. Man, that sent a shiver through me. And then it made this kind of sound, like it really was snickering at me. And I thought for a second, this must be some kids playing a trick. The snickering sounded like it came from a boy or a girl or a small person, not a big dog-headed monster. Furious that my wife, who was expecting our child, was being frightened needlessly, I stormed out of the gazebo, through the snow, and over to those kids. As I opened my mouth to begin telling them off, I looked up and saw that whatever that grinning thing was, it was not a group of teenagers pulling a prank. It made this stressed out noise at me, opening its eyes wide and angry, and waving its arms around. I backed the heck up, joining Cecilia in running toward our car. The grinning Dogman was now the gritting Dogman, as he was grinding his huge teeth in fury, as he chased us over toward the parking lot and then allowed us to get away. So that was a traumatic experience that quickly brought us all back down to earth. We still talked about the pregnancy, of course, but now in more of a concerned and cautious way. Did running to the parking lot hurt the situation? How can we prevent anything like that from happening again? Those sorts of questions. The brief period of initial excitement had been chased out of us by that insane-looking Dogman. And so, with our new serious spirit, we set about baby-proofing our house. We had already invested 2 weeks of time and hundreds of dollars when my wife screamed and fell off the stepladder. I caught her, and she fell on top of me. It caused me to twist my ankle all around, but she and the baby were fine, and that was all I cared about. I was about to ask her why she screamed when I heard the weirdest sound from outside. Noticing movement outside the window, I looked just in time to see it again. It was the grinning Dogman, and its eyes glowed so brightly that for just one moment, I saw it light up little areas of our window, that amber color, before it pulled away. Cecilia drove me to the hospital to deal with my ankle, and we realized that the evil, demonic canine thing had followed us home. It wasn't gonna let us live in peace. It wasn't gonna leave my wife and the baby alone. It almost seemed as though it already knew that, too. It seemed to think it was funny to scare a pregnant woman. It wasn't just a random animal. It was some kind of a thing, which had decided to do bad in the world. If that didn't make it literally a demon, it certainly did the work of demons. It could at the very least be said to be figuratively in service to the devil and his minions, as it was doing the work of evil. Well, we tried to sell that house, and in the meantime, we had to go back to live with C's mother. I shouldn't even have to mention that neither of C's parents believe in the Dogman, and they both thought I was already driving their daughter insane. So, it was an uncomfortable stay, but at least the Dogman was too scared of my mother-in-law to come anywhere near that property. This is how you can tell he is an intelligent beast. So I'd love to do the entertaining thing for you and end this with a tragic finale about how our kid came out a werewolf or cursed or something, but actually he came out kind of boring and normal. Don't tell him I said that. He's a vice president in a bank, He takes care of his family. He's a good guy. When we sold the house, we moved to the city and raised 3 kids, all of whom are in their 30s and 40s now. And thankfully, none of us have ever seen the Dogman. Not any kind of Dogman. Ever again. There are lots of memories I have of times I wish I could go back to and relive. But one thing I would never want to live through again is the evil of the grinning Dogman. Whether you're slaying dragons or stealing a horde, 0718 Dragon Lord. Please join me in thanking today's executive producer, our once and future member, 0718 Dragon Lord. We're always happy to welcome former members back, just as we love welcoming new members in. Whichever category you fall into, please check out this important message from our old spokesmongrel friend, Henry Lee Dogman. Frank? Thanks, Biggie. And thanks to all of you for watching this far. If you liked it, please click like. If you'd like to see more of our work, please subscribe. And also click that bell icon if you'd like to be notified when we put out a new episode. To become an executive producer, you can donate to us through the thanks button under each of our videos or through our paypal.me/PeterBernard209 page. To receive cool perks like secret uncensored Dogman episodes far too wild to ever run on this channel, you can become a YouTube channel member by clicking the join button, or join our PayPal subscribers club at peterbernard.com. Joining either at the $3 a month level or above gets you access to our over 25 hours of secret uncensored Dogman stories available nowhere else. Do you have a scary story about Dogman or some other kind of high strangeness that happened to you? Let us know by emailing us at scarystoriesnyc@gmail.com or by leaving us a voicemail message at 804-LA-SCARY. You may need to call back on that one. It cuts off after, I think, 3 minutes. And if you don't want to do any of that stuff, thank you for simply watching to the end. Good night, and have a scary tomorrow.
Come back for more scary stories.